You might see a little bit more of me this week. Wednesday night in Baker's League. Thursday, potentially a fortnight stream. New season there. Though I'm still terrible at it. And, of course, no race stream next Monday. Bank holiday break. Both leagues having a week off. So, no race next week. Hello to Magnatex in the chat. They're ready and up and getting underway. A few missing tonight. Yeah, as always, the subscriptions remain open.
Good luck, guys.
All subscribers, of course, do get added to our Christmas giveaway wheel, where we'll be giving away £180. Nice little Christmas bonus for somebody. To get on that wheel, all you need to do is subscribe on Kick. Or Twitch, or gift a sub. But if you do want to give subs, Kick is the better option, as we get a better percentage as streamers doing that. Also, though, if you do subscribe with Prime, you get your name on there. So do that as well. That is, of course, free for yourself if you're a Prime member to subscribe on Twitch. Good evening to Senna. He's in the DRS chat. Are you still away, Senna, or are you racing tonight? Don't see your name, so must be still away. Just double check my settings. That's right. Last night in Spain, and he's spending it watching F1 streaming. Look at that, that's dedication. So we've got 14, that'll become 15, I think, because Ronnie has joined in, and will hopefully be able to get in his car. I've not put the track map up yet.
You racing Wednesday blog?
I should be racing Wednesday, yes. And then the following Wednesday I may well be the host as well. I'll come back to that. Baker and Mick have their League Cup game at Colchester. Mine's on Tuesday rather than Wednesday, so it's a possibility.
Nice. Monaco flag. Monaco Wednesday.
Oh, is it Monaco Wednesday? Oh, I don't want to bother now. Oh. Every week I'm available in Baker's League is a track I bloody hate. Anyway, who we got out here? We have the two Hasses of Ruznico and TMK. TMK's been absent for some of this season. He's back in today. We've got Ronnie in a Kick Sauber.
Not as bad as it used to be.
We've got Levi in a Mercedes today. That's 50 gent seat. Monaco. Oh, I suppose I'll be indoors anyway on Wednesday. I'm back from work, so I can't really think of an excuse not to do Monaco. Annoying. TMK will be the first one on a hot lap. I've not even sorted my screen out properly. TMK and Rouge Nico on their way, along with Max as well. In fact, TMK slowed right down, and he's allowed Rouge Nico to go through, and Rouge Nico has invalidated. So I'm not sure what happened there, and now he's getting right out of the way. Here is Max. TMK having some definite problems there. In fact, I think he stopped on track. He's in the gravel. He's just about kept it going. He's certainly taking getting out of the way very seriously. Here comes Max. And I think he is going to be the one to set the first lap time of the session. And he does with a 1:20.0. Symes also on his way towards the final corner. A few others on track, including the Ferraris of Sloth and Swanton, as Symes does a 1:20.6. TMK 2 minutes and 1. Not sure what he was doing there. Here is Sainsey to complete his outlap and head off on his way. Smug 1:20.8 goes P3. Ferrari's coming across to start their laps. Collins out on track as well, Mr. Pickle. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Where did that come from? Mr. Pickle, that's not a good lap for him, 1:23. So maybe a double outlap attempted by him. Rouge Nico's invalidated again and is now in the pit lane. Here is Skippy, 1:23.0 for Skippy. He will want to improve on that. TMK now coming through to set a proper time this time. And it's going to be a 1:21.1, and that's P4 for TMK. Levi is coming down through the middle sector. I might pick up some slipstream off the car in front. But then we'll want that car in front to be out of his way. Levi 1:23.2, Sloth 23.3. Mr. Pickle now improves 1:21.0. P4. The Pro-Am title, of course, in the balance. But a chance maybe in the drivers and pro for Max World today, with Craggy seemingly absent. And not only Craggy, but Joker as well, not with us. Hammer is asking if it's too late to join the lobby. I am not sure, sir. If I have you on the friend list, then I can invite you, but I'm not sure if I do. I don't see you, sir. It would be best to message Smug when he is not on track. That would be the best way to do it. Round to the final corner now, Smug. And Sign's been disconnected. And Smug improves to P2 ahead of Sign. 120.6 for Smug. Let's re-invite Sign. So just 3 of them yet to set a lap. Swanton's going to now improve on his, and all the way to P2 with a 120.2. Super last sector from him there. And the Ferrari goes to second place. Colin on the board with a 121.0. He's in P6 behind Mr. Pickle. Just ahead of TMK and Sainsey. Ronnie also in the 129s and in the top 10. Newty and Speedy Bullet on their way around. I think we have had people join during qualifying before, so I think you'll be alright to get in, sir, but Smug is the one in charge. They'll be back towards the pit lane now. TMK well down and nobody else really on hot laps, so we'll go to our Newt as he begins his first attempt. Yeah, it's Smug the one to ask. I'm not entirely sure, but I think you'll be fine. Newty then, flash of purple through sector 1. There we have Hammer joining now. Max on his way back out. And an invalidate for Newty. So here is Speedy Bullet, who is also on his first attempt. Hammer has made it in and is now in his car. Still 7 minutes or so in the session, so should be no problem getting a lap in, and Speedy Bullet is doing just that, and it's a 121.2 and he goes to P9. Rouge Nico's having another go and he's already invalidated again, so he's not having a good time out there as Newty tries again. We'll also keep an eye on Max World as he is back out, as is Sainsey on a hot lap as well. We could find some traffic. For now we stay with our Newt, as this time he's made it through without invalidating. There's our Newt with a 120.8, goes to P6. Meanwhile, Sloth has gone up to P3 with a 120.4. Max is back in the pits, so whatever happened with him, I'm not sure. Hammer now on his outlap. Sainsey, no improvement. Speedy B's on his way to the pits. Ronnie down on his time slightly. Nico's going again. Can he get a lap valid this time? So we've ended up with 16 drivers in. 14 of them have set times.
We need to check the car after last week low.
Indeed. The Haas was in the wars last week in Blobby Mondays, as were a few of them. A few penalty points dished out. And Rouge Nico 121.4 puts him to P13.
Hope I get a good result again this week.
Here comes Hammer to start his first lap. Yeah, definitely important this week to go into the week break. Oh, and a big spin for Hammer as he comes into turn one, just locks it up. And oh, he's really caught out Syme or Levi. It was Levi, but Levi's on an outlap, so that's okay. Didn't do any damage to anyone on a hot lap. Rouge Nico's invalidated again. He'll be on his way back to the pit. Hammer will have to go again. Here is Smug starting a fresh hot lap. Nice and smooth through the first chicane. So 3 minutes and a bit left. And at the moment it's Max from the Ferraris. The Smug in fourth. Syme's on his way back out. He's not got a lot to find to Smug. Al Newt right up there in sixth, ahead of Mr. Pickle and Colin. Let's see how Smug is doing through sector 2. He is well down, so he's going to come out of that one. Syme then. Again, lovely and smooth through the first corner. That is not easy to do. One of my least favourite corners in Formula 1, that first chicane here at Monza. Syme not quite the front runner he has been on previous games. I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning. Obviously the transition to the new game each year can provide fresh impetus or can provide problems, and he's slipped back towards midfield a little, but he's in P5 at the moment and he's trying to improve on that. And he comes up now to the line and does improve ahead of Smug, but only just, a 120.6. And is that Max getting the most of the slipstream? Yes, it is. And Syme almost into the back of a McLaren coming out of the pits. That's Al Newt. As the traffic builds up into the final couple of minutes of the session. Syme now ahead of Smug on the second row. Max with that slipstream in the first sector down the straight. He has now taken a tenth of his time. And can he be the first to break 120 in this qualifying session? He is well on track to do that. 4 tenths up. Did he go too wide there? No, he didn't. And This looks to be a pole position earning lap right here. Here he comes to the line, 119.3, almost a second ahead of Swanton, and that is surely going to be enough for pole position for Max World. Levi improves ahead of Ronnie. Checkered flag is out. Smug and Mr. Pickle are back. Oh, I was going to say on row 2, but Skippy has now jumped ahead of Mr. Pickle. No improvement for Speedy Bullet. Hammer well down on his time. Not going to improve. Rouge Nico could improve though. 20.7 for Rouge Nico and up to P8. Good stuff for him. Smug's on his way to the pits. Colin, P2 for Colin. What a last lap from him. 120.1 for Colin. The Ferraris are still out there. Swanton to the line, doesn't improve. Sloth still going. As is Al Newt just ahead of him. And Newty doesn't improve. Sloth to P4. Ferrari on row 2. Swanton P3. Sloth P4. Smug will be P5 ahead of Skippy, Mr. Pickle, Syme, Rouge Nico and Al Newt. Then it's Sainsy, TMK, Speedy Bullet, Ronnie, Hammer and Levi. Max World then the only one to break the 120 barrier with a 119.3. Colin out of nowhere from down in 10th or 11th beforehand made it to P2 with a final lap gasp to put his Aston Martin on the front row. The Ferraris 3 and 4 for Swanton and Sloth. Then it's Smug, Skippy, Mr. Pickle and Syme from Rouge Nico and Al Newt rounding off the top 10 ahead of Sainsy, TMK, Speedy Bullet, Ronnie, Hammer and Levi. Get your predictions in the chat then, folks. Is it going to be the Max show? Is he going to be able to pull back some of the deficit to Craggy at the top? Or who comes out of the field to challenge him? Meanwhile, is it Sloth? Is it Skippy? Is it Pickle? Is it Newty? The Pro-Am race. All to play for in the Pro-Am Championship, of course. We will see the pit wall here at Monza momentarily. There it is. Weather looks nice. And I will take you through some of the championship standings. We are on round 7 of the championship, if you didn't read the title. And the pro drivers see Craggy with a 56-point lead over Joker with Max 1 behind. So key for Max today to get a win on the board with Craggy and Joker both out of action. Also missing is King Kong, who's having a great season. He's in 5th place in the pro driver standings, even though I mistook him for a Pro-Am last week. Sorry about that. Sloth does lead the Pro-Am drivers from Skippy and Mr. Pickle. Al Newt's well down the order but doing well today. And Easy Life is missing. That's very rare. Sloth leads Skippy by 9 points. Mr. Pickle a further 6 back, as it looks to be a 3-way title fight. Though Sainsy, with a 38-point deficit to Sloth, could still get involved. McLaren, Craggy Led lead the way in the constructors. Ferrari are in P2, just 12 points back. And it's VCarb, Williams and Red Bull and Sauber as well, all still in the hunt. The top 6 within 44 points. Haas are struggling at the bottom. I need TMK and Rouge Nico to do something today. They're a couple of points behind Aston Martin, with Colin on the front row. And 6th in the Pro Driver standings. But in the hunt for those positions with Swansong, King Kong, Smug and Senna just outside of the top 3. That brings you right up to date. I'll take you through the tyre selections on the formation lap. Check in my Discord for any other issues. Had a late message from Webster saying he's unfortunately not racing tonight. Get well soon message for him. But we will come to that. That's in Brazil. That is later on from 10 o'clock. Hammer says he's having a hard time adjusting to his pedals. Causing a lot of lock-ups, as we saw when we see him start a hot lap earlier on and slide into turn 1. Got a bit blue tongue for the energy drink there. Blueberry lemonade. So get your predictions in the chat, folks. Who's your winner? Who's the surprise package? And of course, how many DNFs? That's always a fun one. 16 start, how many will finish? As we go on the formation lap, and we see a mix of hard and medium tyres. Max and Colin on the front row have gone for the hard tyres and the long stint. Then both Ferraris are on the mediums, as are Smug and Mr. Pickle, sandwiching Skippy, all on mediums. So some pit stop coordination required there at Ferrari and Red Bull. And also at Aston Martin, where Hammer and Colin are both on the hards. Syme on hard tyres with Levi at the back on mediums. The Hasses also both go medium. Rouge Nico in 9 and TMK in 12. Our Newt flying solo tonight, as is Sainsy, as is Speedy Bullet. Ronnie's on mediums. That's different to Max at the front. Hammer and Levi bring them in. And Max has sped round that first that formation lap. Some of them are just crossing into the final sector. Max will spend a while sitting on the grid. How many disqualifications for parking, we wonder? Usually a couple. Smug is one of them. I've lost sound for momentarily, I think. Here we go, I think. We've got a man waving a green flag. And now what's happened? Yep, DRS has been disabled. We are ready. And it's 5 lights. Out they go and off we go. And Max has got away reasonably well, but Colin is alongside. And off into the wall and out of the race is Al Newt. Al Newt's out of the race before the first corner. Virtual safety car. And everyone's going to pack up and Smug and Sloth. And there's about 4 penalties for collisions for Smug, Sloth, Rouge Nico and Mr. Pickle. It's a VSC at this stage. Smug has managed to get ahead of Sloth. And now Simon and Mr. Pickle are swapping places. But 4 of them have picked up 10-second penalties there. Which is not ideal. You see everybody start to retire, then you'll know there is a red flag. But at the moment, and Swanton is out. And Smug is out, so it is a red flag. It's a red flag. It's a red flag. Everybody will retire or leave. So I'm also going to leave. It's a red flag, folks. And we're going to try that again.
Wow, what a start.
No, it's a red flag. I'll just check the mail while I'm waiting. We'll take that. And that. Thank you. And then I'll wait for I'll just wait for another invite, folks. And, a red flag it is, which will delight Newton as he was out of the race. So I'll just wait for another invite in, which is there now. Here we go.
Lobby.
Good evening to Max in the chat. He's on pole position and he's going to have to do it all again off the start.
That was an eventful start.
Indeed. I think the VSC came before most people got to the first corner. So it was then difficult for people to slow in time. And 4 people ended up with penalties.
CTRL plus CCTRL plus V for my start, please XD.
Yeah, it was definitely a good getaway. So Colin is a lively one to deal with.
Gone.
But yes, we'll do it all again. Once we get the rest of the drivers back in, it'll be...
Penalties being given out left, right and centre.
Yes, there were 4 10-second penalties given out there in the space of one corner, which felt like my steward's room after last week's Blobby Monday, where we had a few incidents and a nice big argument in the Discord afterwards, which we hope for no repeat of tonight.
Monza T1 Wreckfest.
It is always Monza. Baker will tell you about Monza, Magnatex, where in Blobby Mondays season 1 or 2, was it 1? Was it season 1? I think it was season 1, yes. That when I ran a joint league with Baker to start with, we both ended up out before the first corner when it was raining and the game put everyone on dry tyres. So Monza, famous for it.
Oh, nice. What
So
people
yes.
say, safe into T1 what people do, send ITTTT. Let me know if there's any room in tonight's race, Blobby, I'll fill in.
Yes, Speedy, we've got plenty of reserve spots available, so just make sure you've got me added and I'll send you an invite as and when about 9:45 or a bit later now that this race is running over a little. But I think once Levi is in his car, which he is now, I think that's everybody in. We've got 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those. Newty on his own, 2 Aston Martins.
Rolling on the floor laughing.
We've got 1 Alpine, 1 Williams, 1 V-Carb, 2 Hasses and 2 Saubers. Yep, I think we're ready to go. And that's why I can't see the little crown on Smug's name, because it's behind my face. But everyone will be readying up now, and don't forget your setups, folks, if you are listening in. Of course, you have to do those again, because it is a fresh lobby.
Have you heard about Hamilton's retirement?
No, he's off to Ferrari, isn't he? What's the latest? I believe we will have another formation lap. We'll have another pause where we look at the pit wall and I have to fill for a couple of minutes. So drivers can do their strategies and setups, etc. But then we will have another formation lap as well, I believe. Usually do. So here's the pit wall again.
I think after Ferrari next season he will be retiring before 26.
Strange. I did think he was going to Ferrari for a 3-year contract, but I might be wrong. As much as I like Max, it's obviously a lot better when more than one car is capable of winning the races.
What the newspapers say.
Obviously more fun when more than one car can win the race each week. Obviously Max had that very dominant season with Red Bull, as Lewis had more than a couple of his own, and the one season with fighting Nico Rosberg. Nothing new, of course, because we've always had dominant teams. McLaren in the 80s with Prost and Senna, and then Prost going to Ferrari and carrying on the battle with Senna. Williams and Benetton taking over in the 90s with Hill and Schumacher. And then Schumacher bringing Ferrari back up to dominance. It does seem that McLaren are on to something at the moment. And we want to see Max and Lando and Oscar scrapping. We want to see them scrapping. We want to see tight competitive races and a close championship for the good of the sport. I mean, 2021, regardless of the controversy surrounding how it ended, what a season.
McLaren, which put pressure on Schumacher.
Absolutely. Mika Hakkinen, absolutely top driver as well. We're on the formation lap again. And it's the same mix of hards and mediums. Mr. Pickle has changed his mind. He's now on hards. He was on mediums last time. Other than that, much the same. So one less thing to worry about down at Red Bull. Different tyres suggesting different laps to pit. Ferraris have to be careful of that, as do the Hasses. They're quite close together. Don't think it's going to affect the Kick Saubers or the Mercedes so much. And that Mercedes are on different tyres anyway. The Aston Martins are on the same tyres, but again, don't think that's going to affect them too much, with Colin on the front row and Hammer on the back row. And Max again has stretched away on this formation lap, as he wants to stretch away in the race. Might want to
come on, Skippy, you've got this.
Roll it in a bit. Senna's hoping Skippy is going to keep Williams in the hunt for the Constructors' title. Watching from his holidays. Starting in a decent position in P6. Second of the Pro-Ams behind Sloth. But ahead of Mr. Pickle. How many DQs for parking this time? It was just smug last time. Looks like none at all. Very good. DRS disabled for the start, of course. 5 lights. Out they go, and away we go. And Max has had a slow start this time. But Swanton has got past Colin, and Skippy's up the inside, and contact between Skippy and one of the Red Bulls, I think Smug. Colin's had to go over the curbing, and that's let Max escape completely. Swanton is in second, Colin down to third, Sloth, then Skippy from Mr. Pickle. Smug's had a bad start. Then Rouge Nico, Syme, Al Newt, Ronnie. Colin making the move back up the inside of Swanton. Max already 2 seconds clear. He's going to absolutely be loving that. And a bit of somebody's car went flying off in the background. But everybody has managed to keep it on the track this time, just about. Max from Colin, Swanton and Sloth as they started. Then Skippy ahead of the Red Bulls now. Mr. Pickle past his teammate into P6. Smug dropped a couple of places. Then Rouge Nico and Syme. And Syme having a look with Al Newt in behind as well. And Syme makes the move past Rouge Nico into P8. Sainsy was having a look in behind. Newty now passing Rouge Nico as well. No DRS, of course, for the first lap. Skippy now going for Sloth into P4 and the Pro-Am lead. Good move from Skippy, but he didn't have the best of exits. And oh, there's a big mess going on here. Speedy Bullet's gone off, and TMK as well. TMK's in the grass, trying to get back past Levi right at the back. Speedy Bullet lost a few places there as they all filter through the next chicane, and Hammer was a bit slow through there. Speedy's right on his case. Has Speedy got some damage to that front wing? Yes, he has. He has broken one of the plates off of there. Meanwhile at the front, Swanton is catching Colin again. TMK getting past Speedy Bullet, who surely is going to need to pit to fix that wing. Max 2.5 seconds ahead. Swanton looking at the back of Colin. Mr. Pickle going for Sloth. Mr. Pickle now ahead of Sloth. Swanton fastest lap. Skippy fastest lap. Swanton passing Colin before they get to turn 1. And in behind, Mr. Pickle passing Sloth. And off is Smug. Smug is off. Smug has got off and has lost several places. He's now in 11th. Swanton into P2, and Skippy's going to go for Colin for P3 here. In the pits are Sainsy and Speedy Bullet. Both, I assume, with damage. Now Newt trying to get to Syme here. There's Rouge Nico just in behind. Max fastest lap of the race once again. Who's going to make moves with DRS this time? Sloth close to the back of Mr. Pickle. Rouge Nico making a move. And look at his Haas teammate in behind trying to make a move on Smug, and there's contact. And Al Newt's broken his front wing. Being passed by Rouge Nico. Al Newt, big bit of his wing went flying off there. And Ronnie just going a bit wide as he tries to make an overtake as well. Smug just staying ahead of TMK. And then wide, very wide goes Al Newt and loses a couple of places there to Ronnie and Smug. And wide again. And now TMK goes by him as well. Smug and Ronnie having a scrap in front. And Smug back up to P9. And our Sloth is ghosting for some reason. So something happened there to Sloth. He's lost places. Rouge Nico is up to P7. And now Smug up the inside of Sloth. Max, another fastest lap of the race. 3.5 seconds the gap now. Sloth into the pits. So something definitely happened to him. And he's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits. Al Newt is also in the pits. Skippy picks up a penalty for track limits. And Levi is also in the pits. And Skippy's now lost P3 back to Colin. And Mr. Pickle is looking to go 3 wide. This could end in tears. In the end, they filter back into single file. But Colin is back into P3. Sainsey is going to overtake the 3 who pitted. But Speedy Bullet is not. He does take Levi. Here goes Skippy up the inside of Colin. And that is P3 for the Williams. And look at the Red Bull dive him through as well. Colin held up there. And Mr. Pickle said thank you very much. And went into P4. Colin down to 5. Smug battling away with TMK. With Ronnie and Hammer in behind. And Smug up the inside of TMK. Trying to find the shortest way around that corner. Mr. Pickle is now up to P3. And the lead of the Pro-Am ahead of Skippy. Meanwhile, look at this cluster of cars coming down to turn 1. The 2 Hasses in there together. And contact with the 2 Hasses. And Smug's right there as well. Ronnie and Hammer. Deep breaths, folks. Drag race again for the Hasses. Ronnie up the inside of Smug. Smug will try and take that back up the inside of Ronnie, and does. And Hammer will try and get involved as well. And gets a bit of DRS help. And Hammer is going to pass Ronnie. And into the top 10. Cracking battles going on all over the place. Sloth and Sainsey, who have both pit early. Scrapping down the order. Skippy retaking the Pro-Am lead. And P3 from Mr. Pickle. Colin watches on. Hammer going for Smug. And up to P9 goes Hammer. Skippy and Pickle continue their battle. Smug retakes Hammer. As does Ronnie. Hammer's ghosted. So a problem there for Hammer. And almost a spin for Ronnie. Hammer's wing looks intact. Sainsey is now past Sloth. Mr. Pickle and Colin chasing Skippy. Meanwhile, Max nearly 5 seconds clear, and Swanton has now got a good gap to this battle. As Nico and TMK out of the race is Ronnie. Ronnie's out of the race. TMK was involved, I think. Safety car, and Swanton and Skippy have seen it and are in, as is Colin and Syme. So a good judgment from Swanton there. Rouge Nico speeding in the pit lane. Picks up a penalty. Hammer's going to go right the way up to P3. But for the ones that pit early, this is not a good sign. And TMK and Rouge Nico are going to have to double stack. And that's going to cost TMK some time. A lot of time, in fact. Probably enough to see Sainsy past him. Well, Sainsy's back in the pits, as is Al Newt. Sloth goes by into P10. Everybody else pretty much in the pit. Max did not pit, but now is he going to? As the field is spread out. Of course, everybody is under Delta. The safety car has not picked Max up yet. Swanton dived in as soon as he saw the safety car come up. Ronnie is out of the race. King Kong says that Sainsy is going to win. Well, he's currently 14th. And Max is into the pits. So now does Mr. Pickle join him? Or does he take the lead? Mr. Pickle joins him. Is Hammer then going to try and go through and take the lead? He might just get there as well if he does. And he is. And is Max going to get out ahead of Hammer? It's close. Hammer, does he take the lead? Does he get an illegal overtake? Hammer into the lead. Pickle will rejoin behind Skippy but ahead of Colin. So nobody's really lost out. Apart from those who pitted early, like Sloth and TMK, definitely. And now Rouge Nico's in the pits again. He's serving his speeding penalty. That's sensible, but not so sensible that he's now going to come off the hard tyres. But he's serving that penalty. Hammer is now the leader. And the Aston Martin safety car leads the Aston Martin driver. This is probably a position that Hammer's not been in before in league racing, I would guess. But he leads the race. Max is now in second and has got a job to make the medium tyres last to the end. Then it's Swanton and Skippy from Mr. Pickle, Colin and Syme, who are in a similar position to Max in terms of tyres. This could have worked out nicely for Smug, who dropped down the order early on and is now in P8, but on the hard tyres that are new. We're still waiting for most of the tail end of the field to catch up. Sloth just tagging on now, followed by Speedy, TMK and Levi. Sainsy and Al Newt are still quite a way back as the safety car starts another lap, and Sloth's into the pits. And was he another one who had a penalty? It seems he was. So that makes sense as well. Get rid of the 10-second penalty while you can under the safety car, and hope it will let you catch up. Sainsy and Al Newt still quite a little way behind. And Rouge Nico's in the pits for a third lap in a row to put his hard tyres back on. So I would not be surprised if the safety car is in without letting Rouge Nico catch up now. Because in theory, pit every lap and the safety car never comes in. So we'll see about that. He's going to have to get his foot down now to try and catch up. But I'm assuming the safety car will be in this lap anyway, unless it's feeling generous to Sloth. They've served their penalties, which is a worthwhile thing to do. No sign yet that the safety car is coming in. Hammer and Max really warming the tyres. And it's surely too late now to call that it's coming in. So we are having another lap of safety car, which Rouge Nico will be delighted to hear. Now is Sloth going to box again, or is he sticking with the mediums? He is sticking with the mediums. And just the straight to go now for Rouge Nico, and he'll have caught up. So everybody given ample opportunity. There you see him in the background just coming into the first corner. So he will latch on to the tail of the field. And let's see whether the inexperience of Hammer is going to affect how he conducts this restart. So far so good. He's warming the tyres nicely. He's not hit the safety car, which is easier done than you'd think. Skippy and Pickle swapping places momentarily. King Kong saying Hammer's got a nosebleed. Well, we'll soon see. I wouldn't expect him to lead for long, especially with the whole field having fresher tyres. The safety car is in this lap. It's a nice early call. So now Hammer can back them up as much as he wants. He's going to continue to warm his tyres, as are a few more of them in behind now. He's letting the safety car get nicely clear. And now when is he going to pull the trigger and go? Safety car just entering the pit lane. Oh, contact, and TMK has hit Speedy Bullet and has got a 10-second penalty. I saw a bit of somebody's car fly off. Max has really timed this well, and he might just get Hammer straight away off the restart. TMK in the pits. Max up the inside of Hammer into turn one. And there you have it. Hammer's lead lasted the length of a straight. Sainsy making moves, as is Sloth, who's overtaken Rouge Nico. TMK's come out on soft tyres, so I'm really not sure what's going on at Haas. Colin past Mr. Pickle and into P5. At the moment, Hammer is keeping second place. Swanson, though, right on his case. Then Skippy, Colin, Pickle, Syme, Smug. Defending is Hammer. Can he help his teammate out at all? As Colin is in the chasing pack. Skippy with some pace to catch. Surely once DRS is back live, it'll be an easy move for the chasing pack. There goes Swanton. And a late dive from Skippy. A late dive from Skippy. Colin in amongst it. Mr. Pickle's lost places and got off. Mr. Pickle drops down behind Smug now. And now the Red Bulls are side by side. And Speedy Bullet's in there as well. And Sainsy. Look at this. Sainsy trying to get involved as well. Mr. Pickle dropping right down the order. On board with Pickle. And he's dropped to P9. He's broken his wing. That's why. TMK's in the pits again. And at this rate, he's going to end up a lap down. Colin passes Hammer now, his teammate. Sure, Hammer didn't mind that one. Colin will now want him to rear gun against Syme. Mr. Pickle continues to drop down the order. Syme is going for Hammer now as well, though. And that is P5 for Syme. Hammer on these older tyres just doesn't have the pace at the moment to stay in front. But he might fancy a move back with some DRS. Mr. Pickle's in the pits to fix that front wing. Skippy's going for it on Swanton, and everyone else follows through. Pickle's gone for softs now as well. Stainsy up to 8 from Speedy Bullet, now Newt, then Sloth, who needs to pass a few of the ones in front of him to keep his championship lead. Of course, at the moment, Mr. Pickle right down the back as well. Skippy, the Pro-Am leader, in P3, fighting with the front of the field. Next to pass Hammer will be Smug. And that looks like that will happen shortly. Smug not quite with the straight line speed there, but we'll get some DRS in a minute as they come into the main straight. So this should be a move coming now. It may be a move further forward for Colin. Let's have a look. In fact, no moves except for Smug there. And Al Newt as well up the inside. And Sloth has gone deep into the corner. He's gone right off. And he's picked up a corner cutting penalty. Levi into the pits. Sloth, that did not go well for him there. And he lost out a place to Ruznico and picked up a penalty. So, really was a costly mistake for the Ferrari driver. Pickle passing Levi into turn 1. That is P13 and 14 at the moment. TMK way back, and Max will be approaching to lap him shortly. He's got a 4-second gap again to Swanton, who's got Skippy all over in the back of him. Colin and Syme as well. A little bit of a gap to Smug from Hammer, then Stainsy, Al Newt and Speedy Bullet. From Ruznico, Sloth. Big gap to Mr. Pickle, who's now pulling away from Levi, and TMK is at the back. Skippy going for a move for P2. Thinks better of it. Under braking. We look down the field and everybody's in single file going in this time to turn 1. And no dramas on that occasion. Only track limit penalties at the moment are for Skippy and Sloth. Hammer is now joined them, and Levi is out of the race. Levi out of the race. I think he's pit and quit. He's either pit and quit or he's hit the pit wall. I'm not entirely sure. We'll stay with TMK just to see if we can find out. He has pit and quit by the looks of it.
Even blocked DRS on the cursed track. Getting those softs to go 12 laps at Monza is a risky move.
So Levi is out. Max leads the way from Swanton. Skippy. I think Stainsy made a move on Hammer while we were trying to see what happened to Levi. Mr. Pickle's now got a got a penalty. Hammer and Al Newt 3 wide. Al Newt 2 deep into the corner. And Hammer's had to bail out as well. And Al Newt's picked up a penalty for it. And now gives the place back. So Sainsy came through that very nicely. And up into P7. And now Al Newt's lost out to Hammer and Speedy Bullet as well. Mr. Pickle's in the pits again. So the soft tyre's not doing him any favours. Skippy getting closer and closer to the back of Swanton at the moment. Really having a look. Skippy showing great pace. Remember, he is a Pro-Am driver. And he's in the top 3 of the main race. Rouge Nico making a move past Sloth. Got a yellow flag in Sector 3 and Sloth is off. It's not a good day for the Ferrari of Sloth. His championship lead in real jeopardy. Luckily for him, Mr. Pickle is also struggling, but Skippy is up to P2. Skippy passing Swanton into P2. Collins right there as well. Further back, Hammer is now passed by Speedy Bullet. Hammer, of course, yet to pit. Speedy Bullet pitted very, very early. Skippy loses that place back to Swanton. Hammer's having a fun race, scrapping all the way. He has a bit of a lock up there, and Al Newt could get involved now. Rouge Nico right on them as well. But he's made those hard tyres last very well so far. TMK picks up a penalty. He's still at the back of the field. The battle for podium places then looks to be where it's at. Swanton 5.5 seconds back from Max, who has had nothing to worry about in this race so far. Skippy now going for Swanton once again. Stays to the outside this time. And it all goes through there cleanly. Al Newt and Hammer side by side. And some contact possibly. And Hammer edging out Speedy Bullet. There's all kinds of battles going into turn 1. Skippy very close to the back of Swanton, but just caught a sausage curb there. And maybe lost a little bit of time. Hammer maintaining P8 ahead of Speedy Bullet, Al Newt and Rouge Nico. Hammer still yet to pit. And he's now dropped out of DRS range of Sainsy, so it should be a sitting duck now for Speedy Bullet to make the move. But he isn't. The move is being made by Rouge Nico on Al Newt. And that one doesn't stick either. Here they go again. And into the pits finally comes Hammer. That frees Speedy Bullet, Al Newt and Rouge Nico, and they're going to have another go into turn 1, 3 wide. Newty stayed behind, Rouge Nico made the move. But Speedy got a good exit. Hammer will rejoin in P12. Clear of Mr. Pickle. Skippy has now started to drop back from Swanton finally. They had a really good battle, but it seems That battle may be over as Colin is now very close to the back of Skippy. Syme hasn't been able to keep with them. TMK's in the pits once again and is lapped by Max. Mr. Pickle set the fastest lap of the race, by the way. And now is Colin going to make a move? They're Newty and Speedy. And Sloth's had another accident, I think. He's off again. And there's Hammer coming up behind him now. As we watch our Newt and Speedy Bullet try and chase Rouge Nico into turn 1. Colin did get the move on Skippy for P3. And a much needed podium for Aston Martin, who are down at the bottom of the constructors. Skippy, the Pro-Am leader at the moment. Sainsy is second. And Rouge Nico is in this massive battle at the moment for third with Al Newt and Speedy Bullet. And we'll keep an eye on that. And Al Newt off! And almost took out Speedy Bullet on rejoining. Speedy Bullet managed to survive that. That was a hairy moment there, where all three of them could have ended up out. Nico will lead them down this time to turn 1. The other two with DRS again are going to go for it. And up the inside goes Speedy Bullet, but he's edged out by Nico. And now Newt's back involved. They're side by side. And now Newt passed. And Mr. Pickle's out of the race. And we've got a full safety car. It's a full safety car. Mr. Pickle is out. And Max, well, must be cursing his luck. Because what does he do now? Does everyone pit behind him? Or do they stay up for track position if he pits? This has thrown a spanner in the works, folks. It's going to be about a 3-lap sprint race to the finish by the time we've sorted all this out. Disaster for Skippy as well, who had a gap. And that will now not be the case. Of course, with his penalty. In the pits is Max. In the pits is Swanton. And Colin and Skippy. Is anyone going to take the gamble to stay out? No. Simon Smug both going in. Everyone's going to go to softs. Sainsy's the next one in. TMK in front of him a lap down is speeding in the pit lane. TMK is going to hold Rouge Nico up here. Again. Rouge Nico's going to lose out because TMK's in the pit box a lap down. He's just left and they've just got away with it. But everybody has boxed. Now TMK is going to be a lap down, so he's going to be amongst the field. Colin's been disconnected. Oh no, not again. This happened to him before. I'm going to try and get him back. Sent him an invite to get back while it's under safety car. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in and this won't ruin his race. He has rejoined the session. I'm hoping he'll be able to get back in his car before the safety car ends, which won't be on this lap as we've got Sloth and Hammer well adrift at the moment. Sainsy also still playing catch up, and those behind him, Rouge Nico, Al Newt and Speedy Bullet, So Rouge Nico didn't actually suffer that time from the double box situation, double stack. That 3 second Skippy penalty now looks very, very crucial and could even cost him the Pro-Am win, because Sainsy is going to be right in there as well. And Rouge Nico's going in the pits again, is he? Or is that TMK? It is. So TMK is going to pit to get out of the way of everyone on the restart. And also had a penalty, possibly. But he's going to be out of the way now, as he's passed by Sloth and Hammer. So he's a lap behind everyone. So essentially that's his race finished. He will limp home at the back. So it's going to be Max to lead them this time. He did a good job behind Hammer of predicting when he was going to go and got him into turn 1. This time he'll be wanting to get away. He's had no dangers through this whole race so far, and he'll be cursing his luck that anybody is this near to him at all. But he's got to do it again. Swanton, of course, and everybody else now on fresh tyres. So does it become a whole different ball game with the soft tyres on everybody? That is the question. Safety car will surely be in this lap, as it's just TMK who's lapped down to get onto the tail of the field. But I haven't had a signal yet from the safety car, and it was very early last time. And if we lose one more lap, then it's a 2-lap sprint race. No, the safety car is in this lap. It's a very late call, and they're all going to bunch up around this corner dangerously. Safety car exits scene. Sainsy and Smug were nearly caught out. Max has said go, and away he goes. Who's going to make moves? TMK speeding in the pit lane again. I don't know what he's doing there. He's out. So TMK is retired. It does become a bit pointless when you're a lapped car that can't overtake. Was there a piece of bodywork coming off someone's car there? Or was that a bit of grass kicked up? I'm not sure. Smug is very close to the rear of Syme. Swanton, though, he is keeping with Max. Smug making the move past Syme. 3-lap sprint race to the end. TMK's car, I'm hoping, is going to disappear by the time they get back round. It has come back out onto the track. Max, Swanton, Colin, then Skippy, Smug, Syme, Sainsy, Rouge Nico from Al Newt, Speedy Bullet, Sloth and Hammer. 12 of them left. 2 laps after this one. Al Newt making a move on Rouge Nico. Sloth looking to pick up places and crucial points in the Pro-Ams. Swanton fastest lap of the race. So you can tell he's going for it. DRS enabled. I can't even talk. And off went Swanton, and he's cut right across in front of Colin, who's now going to be passed by Skippy. And surely that was a little bit naughty from Swanton, but he's maintained his second place. Surely he's given up any chance of the win with that. Colin back up the inside of Skippy. And it's Smug, Syme, Sainsy, Al Newt and Hammer off at the back, ghosting. So he's lost places to Sloth and Speedy Bullet.
Incoming penalty for Swanton.
I think possibly so. He was across the curbs and then definitely impeded Colin. Colin has got the place back off Skippy. Skippy's going to lose out with this penalty quite badly. Sainsy, if he can stay within 3 seconds, is going to pick up a Pro-Am victory. Sloth is making moves with Speedy Bullet side by side. And Speedy defends for now. We're on to the final lap. And a bit of a dive from Smug on Skippy, but just manages to get through. They're queuing up behind Skippy, and that includes Sainsy, who will surely know that if he can keep it where it is, he's going to win the Pro-Am race. Just keep it sensible, and it's a win for Sainsy. Max is well clear again. It's been a masterclass from him. Colin hasn't given up on Swanton for second yet. They're all scrapping in behind. Colin goes to the outside on Swanton. Can he get it done? Swanton defends. Smug has passed Skippy for P4. Colin now passing Swanton. Drag race, drag race. Speedy Bullets off at the back. Drag race to the last corner between Swanton and Colin. Maxwell wins at Monza. But who's going to come second? Colin or Swanton? Swanton or Colin to the line? Colin! P2 ahead of Swanton, then Smug, Syme. Sainsy wins the Pro-Am ahead of Rouge Nico, who takes Pro-Am second. Skippy drops to P8 with the penalty. And third in the Pro-Am. And Sloth will actually be not too disappointed with that. Hammer giving the driver of A by the game. I didn't quite get to the end of the finishing positions as everyone finished so quickly. It was Skippy in P8, P3 of the Pro-Ams, then Al Newt in P4 of the Pro-Ams, P9, and Sloth P10, P5 of the Pro-Ams. Then Speedy Bullet, Hammer were the other two finishers, with TMK, Mr. Pickle, Levi and Ronnie, your DNFs. But it's Max World's day, a masterclass from start to finish. From him, Colin and Swanton to the line. What a race. P2 for Colin and vital points for Aston Martin ahead of Swanton in P3. Smug for P4 ahead of Simon 5. Sainsy, the Pro-Am victor, with Rouge Nico, despite 4 pit stops, coming into 7th. And P2 of the Pro-Am for Haas. Skippy P8, P3 Pro-Am, then our Newt, Sloth, Speedy and Hammer. That's it for DRS. In half an hour's time, we are back with Blobby Mondays in Interlagos, Brazil. That'll be the last one for a couple of weeks, as we have a week off on Bank Holiday Monday. So join me again in about half an hour's time for more F1 action here on Blobby Butler. It's Blobby Mondays from 10. DRS is back in 2 weeks' time.